Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody to this informational webinar on the Emerging Leader Program. My name is Steve Sloan. I'm the head of programs here at Claw Social Leadership. So joined by my colleague Nina Reynolds, who's our head of marketing and communications, and also Daniel, who's an alumni on one of our previous Emerging Leader programs, who's going to be sharing a bit about his experience on the program and also sticking around for any questions that you might have as well. So, as for an agenda today, I'm going to be telling you a bit about Claw Social Leadership, how we think about leadership, of course, run you through the Emerging Leader Program and its components and what else we might have to be able to offer you. Then at the end, we've got time for any questions that you might have. So, any questions that you do have, feel free to pop them in the chat as we go, and we'll come to them at the end. So the first thing to take you through are our beliefs here at Claw Social Leadership, and this really runs through the core of all the programs that we run. So the first one, we believe that leadership development is a lifelong journey. We don't view leadership development as a kind of tick box exercise. We view it as something that is a kind of stepping stone for you to continue leadership development, learning, and development past the program. It's an ever evolving space. There are new things to read, to understand, to get to grips with every year. And like any other skill, it can take a lifetime to master. Secondly, we believe that everyone is a leader. We take quite a decentralized approach to how we view leadership. You know, a lot of leadership development programs in a more corporate setting, perhaps, kind of put more senior individuals as a priority for leadership development. But we run a lot of programs that are really working at a grassroots level. We work all through the different hierarchies of leadership roles as well. Thirdly, we believe that good leadership is essential for social change. We believe that our programs kind of give the knowledge and the skills to individuals to be able to navigate through quite a challenging environment, both nationally, globally as well. So these programs really put you in good stead to be able to lead through social change with your organizations and individually as well. And the fourth point, and the one that resonates with me the most, and the one that I see on all of our programs, is the fact that leaders grow leaders. All of our programs follow a cohort model, so you'll be working with lots of other leaders from a diverse range of backgrounds and lived experiences that all bring a wealth of experience and knowledge that you can really tap into and really benefit from being around on our programs. So those are our four beliefs and how we think about leadership here at Claw Social. As for the Emerging Leader Program itself, there's a bit of a map here for you to kind of follow, but the kind of headlines of when it's starting, it's a 10-month long program. It's starting in May of this year and it will run through to March of next year. It is the Institute of Leadership approved. So we've had the program approved by the Institute of Leadership. And what that means for you is that at the end of your program, you'll be given 1 year's access to their e-learning platform to continue that leadership development journey that I just spoke about. And you'll also gain some post-nominals. So that means if you enjoy kind of sort of having letters after your name on LinkedIn or something, that's something that you'll be able to gain from this program. And this is an associate level of accreditation at the Institute of Leadership. So I'll talk you through the components here for the Emerging Leader Program. We'll start off with a welcome session. That is an hour-long session just for you to meet each other on the program, to meet your facilitator, and to meet some of us from Claw Social Leadership to kind of walk you through what the program is going to look like, how we're all going to contribute, and what it's going to look like for you when you're on the program. Then you'll dive into our Discover component. We really view this as our entry level into how we think about social leadership. So that's a 4-week self-guided learning, which are done through our e-learning platform. Those are complemented with 2 online workshops, which are led by your program facilitator to help consolidate that learning. You also have the opportunity to be involved in action learning. These are best viewed as kind of peer coaching sessions in small groups. So we kind of have small groups of 6 to 8 participants led by an action learning facilitator. And these are kind of 3 hour long sessions, 4 times across your program. And these are often cited as very impactful, important part of people's learning journey on the Emerging Leader program. And as an action learning facilitator myself, I can say that they are very impactful. Not only that, just very useful to be able to have that peer support as well. Also, we'll have learning modules, again, coming back to the e-learning platform that we have, where you'll kind of interrogate some of our different leadership capabilities through videos, readings, podcasts. And this will be complemented by peer learning circles, which there are 5 1.5 hour sessions, which are delivered by your program facilitator. There is also a leadership retreat, which takes place across 2 days and 1 night in Leamington Spa. That's an excellent opportunity to come together in person with your cohort, to build connections, to engage in Luminous Spark, but also just to take some time out, hit pause on your emails in the day-to-day, and just take some time, 2 days for yourself. Coming back to Luminous Spark, which is a key part of the leadership retreat, this is a psychometric profiling tool. You might have heard of other psychometric profiling tools like the Myers-Briggs, which is very good at assigning you a combination of letters and pigeonholing you into a personality type. Luminous Spark is an excellent tool in kind of putting your personality onto more of a spectrum. You'll have the opportunity to get a printed report of your Luminous Spark portrait. You'll then be supported to kind of interrogate this and unpack this with a facilitator and also your peers as well. There is also coaching available on the program for you. So you'll receive 3 1-hour coaching sessions with our pool of accredited coaches. Coaches are all very experienced working with individuals that are working in the for-purpose space and charities and NGOs. There'll then be learning sessions as well, 2 of which are kind of themed sessions. You might be looking at strategic leadership, might be kind of well-being themed workshops as well that are delivered by facilitators that we bring in from our pool of facilitators that we have. And then to kind of wrap up the program in March 2027, we'll be getting together in person to reflect, to celebrate your achievements on the program, and to think ahead about how you want to use some of the skills and knowledge that you developed on the program. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the Emerging Leader program and what you can expect. I'm now going to pass over to Daniel Jones. Daniel was a participant on a previous Emerging Leader program of ours, and he's just going to share a bit about his experience on the program. Daniel, thanks for joining us. I'm going to pass over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me, Steve. That's a striking photo. Yes. So thanks for taking the time to listen a bit about the program. I suppose a little bit first on how I came to the program and the situation and the organisation I was in at the point at which I was joining. I work with the Army Benevolent Fund, which is the Army's national charity in the UK. We support about 80,000 different individuals through grants. And I was in a management of the corporate side of that at the point at which I started the program. I've now moved up to a head of high value role, which was sort of on the cards at the point at which I was signing up for the course and partially motivated my interest in it. So I've gone from managing 1 person to line managing 4 people and a broader team of 7 people with about £2 million worth of income. So a significant move for me. And I wanted to take some time as part of that sort of move to think about the way in which I was going to deal with that change from colleague to manager for some people, to think about the way in which I was going to manage that shift from doing to managing and enabling. And as someone who had been on quite a few management-focused courses, it was really interesting to me to have the opportunity to be in a course that was very much focused on leadership and leadership at different levels of organizations as well. So wonderful to be part of a cohort that was very varied in terms of not just their life experience and the kinds of organizations in which they were working, but the positions in which they were within the organization and the kinds of expertise and the kinds of ability to affect organizational change that they had. Within my role that I was expecting to move into and then did move into, there's a lot of different personalities to manage. There's a lot of different kinds of work to manage, which is something I was very conscious of and something that the course seemed to have good applicability to for me. I also had the benefit of a director who'd previously been on the course, so it's nice to have that proof of concept that someone else had been through that and found value in it. Um, the sort of the key areas it addressed for me, I suppose, were leadership as opposed to management, and providing sort of space and the opportunity and the options to look at a wide range of different issues related to leadership, and sort of unpack those. Not just the time to read, but the time to discuss that with other people in other relevant organisations, and also the opportunity to discuss those in a way that was provided some opportunity for challenging your initial read on the information and the sort of the thoughts on leadership that were being shared, not sort of a monoculture, this is what leadership is, but a start of a conversation, and an interesting group of people to have that conversation with. And also the opportunity to think about my experience in being managed, in being led, my experience as a leader, and what I might bring to that leadership role. And again, in discussion with others on the course who had different approaches to leadership, different things to bring to leadership. And so opening up that conversation and enabling us all to think about the way in which we could meaningfully be leaders and want to be leaders, which I think is something that, again, in other more management training I've had in the past was really lacking. The key parts of the program for me, I suppose, were having that regular time that I had to build into my own schedule. And it does take some time, but it was worth doing to unpack some of that, to read some of that content, to engage with some of that content, to look at some of that content, and then to think about it, sit with it, and experiment with some of it. The residential and the coaching was useful, particularly the residential, the opportunity to engage with those peers within the program. And the action learning set, which for me has been really impactful. My action learning set group actually still meets relatively regularly, and it's been an opportunity to work through some quite sticky problems that I wouldn't really have had the opportunity to discuss with anyone, and to get some really useful input, but also in engaging with that group to see other people dealing with issues that the same shape as some of the issues I was dealing with, and through that to get some insight on ways to address those, which has been really, really useful, and something that I'll be taking forward, not just for myself, but with some of those that I manage, looking at how we can set up that kind of process for them as well, if they're interested, which I think for me is a really big learning from the course and something that I intend to take forward. There's also, for those of you like me who are slightly cynical about open-ended conversations about leadership, there is some hard data in there. There is some really interesting factoids you'll get. There is some information you'll get in that reading that may change the way you think about leadership. It did for me. And also there is the opportunity to get a bit of context on where you are, at least in my experience. I'd say it's benefited me through giving me the opportunity to, in a safe environment with people with interesting and useful views, to unpack some of those challenges, and to think about the way in which I was addressing leadership, to think about how I want to lead and what that means within the organization more broadly, and to be inspired to do more of that and to perhaps engage with that in a different way. It's been really useful to generate external points of reference, to sort of contextualize some of what I'm seeing, and also to get some practical thoughts and some different ways of addressing issues that have been useful for me in managing some recent change within the team. If you're thinking about the course, I would say go for it, particularly if there's funding available within your organization. I would also say it's good to go in with eyes open, that you're going to a certain extent get out what you put in, that the course will very much open a door and give you a lot of resources, and it's very good about giving you the opportunity to engage with that content on a schedule that works for you, but on a schedule that works for you, and the amount you engage with it is going to probably determine the value based on my experience. I don't know, Steve, whether you would have a different view on that. And if you're interested, I would say it's worth being open to it and engaging with it, and engaging with those within the program also in quite an open way.
Superb. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for your reflections. Always lovely to hear. And Daniel's going to be here to the end, so if you've got any questions directly for him, you'll be able to answer those then. Okay, we're nearly there with the slides. Just to really quickly take you through the application criteria and some bursary opportunities that we have available for the program. So really who the program is for, it's for individuals that are working on our in the social purpose space. This can look like lots of different legal frameworks of organization, charities, social enterprises, CICs. If you feel like who you work for, the organization you work for is included there, feel free to get in touch. I can discuss whether you feel like you're eligible over the phone. And of course, you're interested in using your leadership skills and knowledge to help make the world, your community, a better place is really key here. As for the three bursary opportunities that we have available on the program, we have one bursary for individuals from Black or racially minoritized backgrounds or with lived experience of displacement working in Merseyside, Halton, Ellesmere Port, or Skelmersdale. And then we have two bursary places available for individuals from Black or racially minoritized backgrounds working for organisations with an annual turnover of less than £1 million. So if you feel like either of those bursary opportunities apply to you, there's an opportunity in your application to opt in for them. We'll then assess your application and let you know whether you've been successful. If you're not applying for the bursary places and you're just applying outside of those, you can expect to hear back from us within 10 working days to let us know, to let you know, sorry, whether you've got a place on the program or not. In terms of deadlines, we're approaching the early bird deadline, so that's an opportunity for you to join the program on a reduced fee there after the 22nd of March. It then goes up to our full price for the program, and the application deadline for that is the 19th of April. If you're feeling like the Emerging Leader program is quite a lot to bite off, we do have some shorter term programs here available. We have our Management Fundamentals program, which is 7 weeks long, a bit more of a management angle and lens as opposed to leadership. That is kind of self-guided learning with 4 online workshops. And then we have our Discover program as well, which I spoke about very briefly. It's kind of 4 weeks self-guided learning with 2 online workshops. These are both accredited by the Institute of Leadership as well, so all the same benefits are available with those programs there. We also have Find a Coach, which is a service of ours where you're able to get directly in touch with our pool of coaches, reach out to them directly for coaching. So those are some other offers that we have. That concludes the kind of informational part of the webinar, and now we're able to open up for any questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute, pop it in the chat. Great to hear from you. Well, I'm seeing some smiley faces at least. Seems everything's clear. Yes.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I joined a little bit late today, and I was just wondering if there's any chance that you're able to share the slides, because I think I missed the beginning bit. Really sorry about
Yeah.
that.
No problem. Yeah, we'll be sending through a recording of the session and the
Oh,
slides for you
amazing.
as well. So
Oh,
you'll be able
thank
to
you so
catch up.
much.
No worries. Any other questions?
Hi, yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
When you say the applications are like being looked at, are they just being judged on against the kind of eligibility criteria, or yeah, is it like are there detailed questions where you kind of need to talk about your experience and things like that? I just wondered what's that
Yeah.
process.
So there's a lot of questions in there where it's just kind of procedural, name, email address, some stuff about your organization, your job role. And there are 2 questions which we kind of look at to assess your application, which are around why you want to join the program and then what skills you want to gain from the program. We kind of look at the responses to those 2 questions, and of course eligibility criteria as well.
And so do you find that then people don't get places on the program? Like, how competitive is it?
Yeah, I would honestly say almost everybody that applies gets a place on the program, unless there's quite a big misunderstanding about the cost of the program, or the feasibility of applying for the program and participating in the program when you live in a different country in quite a significantly different time zone. Those are some examples of occasions when we've not welcomed someone onto the program.
Thank you. And then in terms of if your organization's not kind of in a position to be able to fund it, are you able to self-fund it? Or I know that sometimes it has to be kind of from your organization or.
Yeah, no, you're welcome to self-fund it if that's an option. And if you want to discuss any kind of ways of splitting that payment between yourself and an organization, you can get in touch and we can discuss that.
Thank you.
No problem. Any final questions? Any questions for Daniel at all?
Stunned silence.
Perfect. Well, I think that probably means that I did a good job. Daniel did a good job of sharing his experience, I hope. But if you have any other questions, feel free to email us, feel free to call us. I'm very happy to organize chats with you if you have any questions or concerns about the program at all. Thank you very much for joining us. Daniel, thanks for joining us as well. Hope to see you on one of our programs potentially. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.